We've just hit 21,000 subscribers, so if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to GlobeTrotting to support the channel. Every year, there's a new article, opinion piece, or subforum that has opened up and or is released, discussing what could have been if Boeing moved ahead with a re-engine of its Boeing 757, an iconic flying pencil known for being a true industry workhorse. Despite its lengthy career, it flies today around the world operating tough missions. It, alongside the 767, have been a staple to the industry for decades, each changing the course of the industry. However, each also respectively lack a proper replacement, many will argue. Discussions surrounding a 757X or 757 MAX have always been somewhat present. How valid they are within the industry, as in fabricating into something firm, is another story. In addition, though, those discussions over a re-engined 757 have switched from it being a pure 757 replacement to maybe also being a replacement for the 737 series. Why the 737 series? Well, right before the pandemic, Boeing's latest endeavour in the long-standing family incurred some very large tragedies that made headlines. However, what it also did was reveal a lot more about the series than most would have expected, from key design flaws that saw the company rush to try and prioritise profits. At one point during this, there was a lot of tough but open dialogue about replacing the 737. Maybe it was a dead end and time to say goodbye, given everything that had happened thus far. Obviously, this didn't end up happening, but it must be said that discussion was present, and there was also talks over how a re-engined 757 may be the perfect alternative. Yes, while Boeing explored potential ways in the past to adapt the 757 or 737 to intertwine, this didn't ultimately continue, and one could argue the closest we'll ever really get is with the higher capacity MAX aircraft that have a longer length to them, but it must be said, they're not 757s. The Boeing 757, though, has always offered airlines that X factor that maybe other programs didn't. With improved range and a modest capacity, carriers have looked towards it for a host of missions, even very simply just coast to coast in the United States or transatlantic operations. There are also other fantastic strengths that the Boeing 757 has that have made it such a great aircraft. But have you ever heard of the saying, nothing is free in life? The same can be applied to the 757, and with all these additional benefits, well, it came at a cost for the program and also its respective operators. It's also worth discussing the shift in models for airlines. Airbus has gone down a route that sees their A321 program, a single-aisle aircraft that is part of the A320 family, continue to be developed into new variants, such as the A321neo, the A321LR, and the upcoming A321XLR. In a way, it means that these jets can fly now transatlantic missions, and they appeal to new carriers that maybe the series wouldn't have initially. These longer-ranged services mean that in some capacity it can act as a replacement for the 757 and be a more efficient and cheaper alternative for airlines. Boeing's lack of replacement to the 757, and also paired with the non-existent ability of the MAX to operate similar missions, means that unfortunately for Boeing, their counterpart Airbus has this market pretty much wrapped up and are moving ahead uncontested, which means for them, they have the ability to continue developing their A321 series to fill all the potential niches unrivaled. So, let's say though we did want to further develop the 757. Well, there are actually immediate roadblocks that would prevent it from being an easy solution. The 757 productions ceased now nearly 2 decades ago in 2004. To say that actually out loud is quite scary when you think about it. It felt like yesterday, but at the same time, now it being 2 decades, it's crazy how time really does fly. But as a result of the 757's production ceasing, key facilities that house the 757 aren't in place anymore, while also supply chains that once worked in tandem to produce a 757 as a flying aircraft also have moved on. This means to get the program up and running, even if it was just for a very simple re-engine, would cost an absolute abundance of money, and to do so would see a dated body utilised too. The argument for a dated body being utilised actually immediately also ties in with some of the key criticisms towards the 737 MAX. With that, the manufacturer used shortcuts by not redesigning the aircraft and finding ways to boost efficiency, cut costs with the placement of engines, while using the same fuselage. Resuming the 757's production, and all the while keeping a multi-decade-old design, would seem in a way hypocritical and may not move Boeing in the right direction that they're trying to head as a company. Timing is also another factor that we really wanted to talk about and consider. Boeing has already very openly revealed that they won't be heading back to the drawing board for a new airliner until the 2030s. This is when they see technology as having improved. Yes, there are risks associated with waiting, as potentially technology may not be ready and then Boeing is left in a bit of a difficult position. Let's say hypothetically they ignored this and did move forward now. Would it really be worth it? The 737 MAX is thriving commercially despite supply chain issues, and any new jet would take years before it's cleared. That also is ignoring all the planning stages that need to happen for a plane and testing. The truth is, Boeing missed the boat for a new jet, and now waiting, while labelled likely as the best alternative for the future business propositions they may find, and also sales, it's really their only option. If they were truly intending to replace the 737 with, say, a new 757, it probably would have been done during the height of the MAX grounding. However, Boeing moved on with their MAX and were determined to get it back in the skies. While many would have liked to see the 757 take over the 737, limitations and much more have all meant that's not possible. Boeing moving ahead with a future small airplane, or FSA as it would have been known, makes a lot more sense. Many agree that re-engineering the MAX and the 737 once more wouldn't make sense with the prospect of new technology, the ambition to have a clean sheet smaller aircraft, and clean sheet middle of the market jet. Working in tandem is actually more exciting. Sometimes it's better to leave aircraft in the past. While no doubt the 757's capabilities will be an important discussion for Boeing in their next era moving ahead, something different may just be the push Boeing needs to bring back a key innovation and its label as a true American company and manufacturer. While there were talks of a 757X or 757 MAX maybe replacing that of the 737 series, it never fabricated. Aviation enthusiasts and more will always question the possibilities. That's in our nature. However, the future is bright nonetheless, and Boeing will be hard at work, plotting their next moves in the industry. But what that is remains to be seen, but with the continued advancements in new technology, it'll be exciting to follow, that's for sure, and see where the next decade takes us in this wonderful industry. If you have any thoughts, let us know down below in the comments. But until the next video, we thank you very much for the support right here on GlobeTrotting, and look forward to you joining us next time for more aviation analysis.